You dirty little liar. Look, I can explain. Explain how you decided to be an ass to someone who was your friend and turn against him to, quote, stop his bad behavior, unquote. I had to do this. I had to stop him from being a bad person. Buddy, the only bad person here is you. You started this bullshit and you never owned up to it. Not even a fucking year later. Did you have an awesome time? Did you enjoy getting more of Spoctor's fans that turned on him? Did you have fun making him think he did something wrong when he never fucking did in the first place? And just decided to come back and act like it never happened and denied everything? Bitch, you joined the fucking bandwagon along with everyone else. God, see? At least Atari, myself, and everyone else knew we fucked up and owned up to it. You and Stories act like you're so innocent, like,
oh, we didn't do anything. We're the victims here because we couldn't take the hate all the meanies were giving us.
You know what? It's not my fault that you, along with the others, are like retards or something. What? See? That's the problem with people like you. You think that you're above everyone else and think you're the victims when actually Spoctor was the victim to your little game, and you pretty much insulted those who have been through sexual abuse and sexual assault. And now everybody hates you. And even Junkie, Fagos, and everyone you were fucking close friends with left you behind after they found out about your bullshit until Ponder Pkyrussl called you out on it. So why'd you fucking come back to fuck with everyone, Pentagrin? Huh? I'll tell you why. Because you are an asshole! You're a fucking bitch! Here, take it. It's trash just like you. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm rescripting all of this. I'm very tired. Alright, at the time I'm recording this, I'm probably wide awake, in a slightly dead tired way, but let's fucking do this. Hey pups, RP here, and I know I said I'd never touch on this topic on my channel ever again, but you know what? Your homegirl turned on you, she turned a complete 180, and she's talking about last year's hot water once again. And the spilled tea stain is still not out of the carpet just yet, and it sickens me mentally and fucks me up that this bitch is still out there pretty much on the lam. Honestly, stuff like this needs to be talked about so something like that won't happen again. Even though it's just beating a dead horse at this point. Now then, before we get started, people like Atari, my friend Bread, myself, and many others have since apologized and moved on from this horrible drama. Well, I would constantly beat myself up with a hammer over my head because of all that happened. But your girl has finally accepted to learn from terrible mistakes. I involved myself in something I shouldn't have, and I'm gonna explain this further later in the video. The reason why I'm talking about this is because the Goat Demon bitch is still out there on Tumblr and Instagram acting like none of this bullcrap ever happened. Maybe she deleted her accounts, but I'm not 100% sure. I did look up to her as a content creator, but I can barely stand to think about her now. And almost a year later, probably back in February, at least that's what I believe to be, I'm not sure, she threw out a half-assed apology blaming everyone else but herself since she was the one who started the shitstorm in the first place. I can't think about her in Stories without getting pissed off to hell and back. I want to get the elephant out of the room. I take sexual abuse and sexual harassment seriously. I'm the victim of such abuse, both IRL and online, which fucking sucks. When I heard about this, I immediately jumped on the bandwagon and pretty much broke my ankle when I jumped off once I heard the truth. Thankfully, the good old Octomom herself had called everyone out, most likely including me, and I think we all know what happens, which is actually very much appreciated, because we all make mistakes, and we must learn from them. I was both scared, dazed, and confused, and also disgusted and appalled, figuring that Pentagrin and Spoctor were good friends. Apparently not. Ever since all that was proven false, I thought this and this alone. Why didn't we see before? Why did we let these heartless lies take over and mess up this young man's life? What would have happened if Pkyrussl and Ponder Sprocket hadn't stepped in and called everyone out saying the information was false, and I think we'll stop it there. Now, the aftermath for me, I was already dealing with a lot of IRL crap at the time. I was stressed, upset, and felt like I should have just left and never came back. But then I had to think to myself, should I really stoop to Pentagrin and Stories' level? Along with reading the comments saying, you shouldn't give up just because of something Pentagrin and Stories did. It wasn't even your fault that she did what she did. You apologized and she ran off like a coward. Even though I blame myself, and pretty much beat the crap out of myself every single day of my life, over the remainder of what was left of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, I finally accepted that we all made a mistake. We all were called out and proven wrong by Pkyrussl and Ponder Sprocket. We all apologized for our tomfoolery and stupidity, and some of us moved on. Those of us that still beat ourselves up, eventually we learned that we all make mistakes, and sometimes healing from the problems, even though you had involvement, and eventually finding out the truth that caused you pain, it takes a sincere apology, and supporting the person that we targeted after hearing the truth is all it takes for people to move on, and to help the person get stronger with time and kindness. But that's just me and my thinking perspective. I'm probably just awkward while trying to give off some advice and life lessons. Terrible advice and life lessons, but still. Enough about that. Not only did Penna Bitch lie about the shit and gave out the worst half-assed apology in the world, Pentagrin and Stories made us all look like a bunch of blind cult of our sheeples, who would bend over backwards to their every bidding and basically made us all look like stupid-ass hoes, who were special snowflakes and said, "Ooh, Spoctor's a pedophile!" Bitch, fuck off! About 4 or 5 days later, Ponder, Pkyrussl, and GhostEXE all called up Pentagrin, Stories, Atari, everyone involved within the drama, and people like Atari, my friend Bennett Ballbread, myself, and multiple others apologized for the involvement and spreading around lies and false allegations, and I'm honestly surprised we aren't in jail by this point for it. However, Pentagrin, Stories, Fran, GhostE, and several others turned tail and run. This mostly applies to Pentagrin and Stories, both of which were under a new name on social media, and again, both turned tail and ran after their fake-ass apologies and blaming everyone but themselves, which is a bitch move, by the way. GhostE, I think we never heard from again. Fran, oh boy, did she get her own little taste of karma. I'm also glad that people got called out on it, so people like myself won't make the same mistake again. Unlike Pentagrin and Stories and Fran, who cried and whined and ran off, Fran didn't really delete any of her channels or anything. She just cried wolf, saying how the critics and callouts were bullying her or whatever. Like a bunch of babies, Atari, Banna, myself, and I would hopefully assume many others took the callouts and critics of Ponder, Pkyrussl, and GhostEXE. And also, stop giving Atari hate. She's since moved on from it all, so leave Atari alone! Leave Atari alone! Leave her alone! Back on topic, we took everything like adults, with adult pants, and we since apologized and move on from it. Don't think that saying,
Oh, you apologized, but you were involved, and now you're doing this to get some sympathy and pity. You're all fucking assholes, and you should all die in a fire or at least get murdered in your sleep for all of it.
No, that is not why we apologized to Spoctor. We apologized to him for something we did wrong and barely even saw the red flags we saw. Was it the stupidest thing we ever done? Yes. Does that mean we should run away like Pentagrin and Stories did? Or when we apologized, did we deserve to be bullied for something we were involved in and had no control over it? No, absolutely not. We apologize for our involvement in the drama, and a majority of us have moved on. That doesn't mean you can bully us and harass us for something Pentagrin and Stories did. I'm surprised they are in jail by this point. I mean, if I were in Spoctor's shoes, I would have pressed charges on them. But that's about as merciful as it can be coming from Spoctor not to do so, and Pentagrin should be pretty lucky that Spoctor's a good person. I still say she doesn't deserve it after what she did. Now, I'm not saying this won't damage him, because it will. It'll damage him for the rest of his life. But if anything, Spoctor does have friends and family to have his back. I still look up to him as a content creator, and hopefully Hopefully Pentagrin and Stories will get what's coming to them. And Spoctor, a quick message for you if you happen to be watching this. I know apologies don't fix everything, but for what it's worth, you're a sweet guy, and you're an amazingly funny person, and seem like the kind of guy everyone wants to hang with. You have fans that are loyal to you and look up to you. You have friends and family that care about you deeply. And most importantly, you're a strong man for staying even when the drama had happened. It's safe to say that you're a role model for the entire YouTube community as a whole. I'm glad to see you and your channel has been going as strong as it is today. And I'm glad to see you're in the position you are in now. Keep at it, and keep going strong, Spock. And I believe a proper apology is in order. I did apologize maybe once or twice, and possibly one time too many. Despite having serious stuff going on in my life, there's no excuse for my involvement in the drama. And I also know that everyone is either going to say, you don't need to apologize, you already did it, or you waited a year to apologize. Well, I was scared I didn't know what else to do. And I still feel like that my apology wasn't all that proper enough. And if I'm painting myself as the victim, I apologize for that as well, because it's the stupidest thing in the world to do, even for me, playing the victim card. I'm not at all the real victim here in this situation. Again, there's no excuse. I'm very sorry for what you had to go through, and for believing you did those horrible things. I still hope you're able to forgive me, along with everyone else for what we all did. If not, that's perfectly fine. Just focus on your channel and your content. And one more thing. You had absolutely nothing to apologize for when the drama skyrocketed. You didn't do anything wrong, and you're totally innocent. Again, I'm very sorry for what happened last year, and hopefully you'll be able to move on. Just because you thought someone to be a close friend hurt you, the best revenge is to continue to do what you love, while they thrive on what they have left, and to move on with people that care about you and love you to the moon and back. Stay strong, Spock. You've made it this far, and you're doing great. Keep at it. And for anyone who's been involved in this, who unknowingly jumped on the bandwagon, not knowing what the dig was even happening, it's been a year. If something like this were to happen again, ask questions about the evidence. Ask the people who provide the evidence, quote-unquote, if that really happened. And now, back to Stories of Pentagrin. Stories ran like a fucking coward and blamed Ponder for ruining, quote-unquote, her YouTube career. And let's just say, Ogdemom chewed her ass out for a good reason. And Pentagrin ran alongside with her. Stories may be a teenager who's 8 years old forever, but she should at least be in juvie for false accusations. But I'm not the law, so I don't know how that works. Also, Stories, if you're gonna come back again, don't. But for you, Miss Pentagrin... Oh! Hello, Dick! Have I got some delicious, delicious, delicious words for you. Well, I did say I wish you no ill will. Well, I did wish no ill will for you. I hope you're fucking happy. Ho! You nearly fucked up Spoctor's life. You're still out free. Now under a new name. You and Stories knew you fucked up. So... Why the dick? Is there no punishment? Will you just turn yourself in for God's sake? And if you don't, I'm sure someone will. You're lucky Spock doesn't press charges on you, dude. If I were him, I would have pressed charges on you for being a lying bitch. You ever heard the saying, if you can't say something nice, get on your knees and suck a dick? No? Well, you do now, bitch! Fuck you, Pentagrin. Fuck you. Dear Arceus, this is 6 fucking pages. This is the last and final time I am gonna touch on this topic. I know the mistress was kinda mean-spirited, but it was meant to be that way. Because what I said to Pentagrin in the past was way too merciful. I legit went into Lord Beerus / Lord Champa levels of destruction of anger right there. Also, I've been addicted to Dragon Ball Super, don't judge me. And let's face it, no one's really gonna forgive her for doing shit like this. No one's gonna want her back. No one's gonna care. Pentagrin pretty much ended up fucking up royally, and she's a fucking bully right there, along with Stories. So I could say they can go screw themselves and, well, I don't want to make it longer than it already has been. And I like to think that I'm a very forgiving person, but when people are manipulative, narcissistic douche sluts, that's when I wish for the evil person to burn in hell. And if you're wondering, after getting all of that off my chest, I feel much better. And yes, I know that I fucked up as well, and probably no one will really forgive me for just jumping on the bandwagon and breaking both my legs after jumping off. And to be honest, I deserve it. I did deserve those broken legs after following the path of stupidity. I wish I could have gone back and turned all around and say, hey, don't do that. I was an idiot, don't be me. Be you, children. Be yourselves. But hey, it takes a bigger man to admit when he's wrong, and it takes a Pentagrin and a 14-year-old lying that they're 8 or 9 to run off like a couple of cowards. Now that my tangent is done, regular stuff. If you like this video, be sure to make it punch that like button. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe to join the Pupper Pack today. I also have 2 other channels, which will be linked in the description. Huge thanks to my Patreon Patreon for their support. If you want to support what I do, my Patreon is in the description, as well as my PayPal if you like a commission. I also have a Redbubble store where I sell some cute designs and t-shirts and things, so be sure to check that out in the description. I also have 2 streaming channels where I do art and soon video games, if I ever get the chance to, and those are linked down below as well. No fan art for today. If you want your fan art featured, my social links are down below as well, and as always, I'll see you later, pups. Stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful.